Welcome to Holistic Motherhood, the place where we tell you how to live and you say yes, please, because why wouldn't you? Thank you very much. Hello, I'm Dolly Spice.
And I'm Jackie Sass.
Welcome to our podcast where we encourage you towards a healthier, more meaningful, holistic motherhood.
Thanks for joining us today on our first podcast. We're going to discuss things by breaking them down into breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Because we love food.
And that's how our days are organized, is around meals. So breakfast is going to be like a large overview picture, a broad brushstroke of what we're going to be discussing. Then lunch is going to be more of how we apply it to our lives personally.
Mhm.
And then dinner is going to be some action steps that you can take to live a more holistic life. I'm going to try to break it down to like really easy bite-sized chunks. And then Dolly,
What am I doing?
what am I doing here? I'm hoping that she'll give us maybe some bigger pieces, like
Yeah.
a piece of roast beef or something that we can sort of sink our teeth into if you're ready to take a bigger step toward a more healthy lifestyle.
But all practical, easy to understand and to apply tidbits.
Right.
That's our goal, is to simplify this for everybody and really to encourage you towards this thing that we call holistic.
Is this breakfast, would you
This
say?
is, we are now entering our breakfast. The reason why I get out of bed every morning.
Let's be
It's
honest.
true. Okay, so for me, I did grow up in a very natural household. Not pretty. It was natural. So long story short, when I was about 8 years old, my younger brother was going to be put on Ritalin for like hyperactivity and literal bouncing off the walls. My mom somehow, before the age of the internet, found something called the Feingold diet. And so we were put on this diet of all natural food, and it just went from there. So I wouldn't say I grew up in like this holistic household. We grew up in a very natural eating and natural foods household. So like one of the examples I always give people, I didn't eat boxed cake mix till I was in college. Like I hadn't really tasted a Skittle till I was like in my late teens, stuff like that. Yeah, crazy. So Jackie, why don't you tell me kind of about your journey to where you're at now, and you're homeschooling your 4 kiddos now, and this is your first year of homeschooling.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me about that and why you guys decided to homeschool.
Oh gosh, there's so many reasons. I think the first one is because I love having a full house. I love the kids being around. Number 2 was we were sending them to private school. We live in Fairfax County in Virginia, which if anybody knows about Fairfax County, they know it's kind of cray-cray. I don't know how else to say it. If you watch the news, you've probably heard about Fairfax County because they are experimenting with all the things on the children there, and it's not right. So we're sending them to private school. That was getting expensive. So I thought, why are we spending all this money? I miss them during the day anyway.
Yeah.
They miss me. They come home exhausted, and then it's like dinner and bed, and it just was a sad cycle. And then also with nap times, driving out to school, pick up halfway through the day, then pick up at the end of the day with exhausted children on both ends. And
Yeah.
it's a lot of external pressure from other people who have like well-meaning ideas, like parent-teacher conferences and holiday, like Christmas parties and Thanksgiving, but like birthday parties at school. It was just so much external pressure that I honestly couldn't really handle with a new baby. And
Yeah.
so
Yep, especially with the newborns. I don't know how you like help those older kids do everything they're supposed to do at school, and then you're still with your newborns. It's
yeah,
wild
it was
to me.
it was a lot.
Yeah.
And then also not knowing where assignments come from, what's the impetus, how much have you learned about this thing that we're working on together? Why don't you know this information? Am I supposed to be teaching you this?
So, and that right there, like being out of the loop. So for me, and I grew up homeschooled
Yeah.
my whole life. I was homeschooled. All my siblings were. I can't imagine being that out of the loop for my own children's lives.
Mm-hmm.
All those hours that you're not there, knowing who's influencing them, and not even just the teachers, but the other kids that are around. Like, we're careful with the kids that are around our kids.
Mm-hmm.
So being out of the loop for that many hours a day for my own kids' lives,
Yeah.
I'm not okay with.
Depending on like a 6-year-old to fill you in on
Yes.
like who pulled their hair and why.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's so hard because they don't even know how to tell like a normal story without like, and then I was a tiger, and
Yeah.
you're like, stick with the facts, please. I
Yeah.
just need to know who pulled your hair.
Yeah.
And did you punch them?
Yeah.
Why did the teacher tell me that? Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
just
Yep.
decrease the drama, stay more engaged.
So, I would like to move on to lunch where we can kind of talk about how holistic motherhood applies to our families and our lives.
Okay. Sounds good.
I want to get into what does holistic mean. We actually did a poll a while back, Jackie and I, just to kind of see the general population's idea of this word holistic. In taking this poll, I feel like a lot of people had kind of a good idea of what the word
Yeah.
holistic really means. But we did see some answers like hippies, patchouli, Eastern religion, which we're going to get to that later on because there is a history behind that and why we associate the word holistic with this idea that is strictly rooted in Eastern religion. But really, what is this word holistic? And what is this idea that we are trying to kind of portray in holistic motherhood? It is a whole body wellness.
Mhm.
So that is our minds, our spirits, our bodies. Of course, our spirits, meaning the spiritual aspect of our lives. So prayer, church, communion, I think with other believers
Mhm.
is all part of that.
That's very important.
And then we have the mind aspect. So that is our mental aspect. So what that might mean is our ability to adapt, maybe in stressful situations, our stress levels, taking care of that mind, which to me is so closely related to the spiritual aspect of whole body wellness, of holistic wellness. That's to me, you cannot, to me personally, you cannot have a healthy mind without a healthy spirit
Right. And I don't
because
think
the one influences the other.
right. I don't think people talk about the spirit part.
No, not enough.
It's fun to talk about the mind because that's kind of what we can see and almost map out
Yeah.
psychologically with science and stuff and brain mapping. You can sort of see that, but the spirit is something different.
Yeah. And so then the next bit is of course the body wellness, which I think a lot of us really easily understand. So diet, exercise, so what we're putting in our bodies, but also what we're putting on our bodies.
Mm.
And then even what is like next to our bodies that is entering our bodies. So we're gonna like
Candles, we're talking.
yeah. so so we're gonna get into all that, but I really want to drive home this idea that holistic is not reserved for Eastern religions and paganism.
Mm-hmm.
It is the original, it's our original health. It is God designed us, is this whole body being. He designed our spirits, He designed our bodies, He designed our minds to all work together. And so if you're neglecting one of those areas in your wellness, the other ones are all going to
Like
suffer. So I guess with that, what does holistic health look like in your family?
Mm.
So we both have 4 children, pretty much the same ages. They're very young.
Yeah.
And we're both homeschool moms,
Well, let's see. Your ages are 10 to 4,
10 to 4.
and mine are 10 to 1.
Yes. And so what does that look like in your family? And how have you arrived to where you're at now?
Okay, I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
So I think I'll break it down also from like from a spirit aspect. Both my husband and I love Jesus. We're Christ followers, and we try to let that permeate everything. So that looks like prayer when we wake up. For me, it's like hearing the baby cry and being like, "Dear Jesus, thank you, I'm alive," and that's about it. If I remember that, because
Yeah.
she's crying, so that's about all I get. My husband likes to pray in the morning, but then I don't really have a quiet time then. But it looks like thanking him for the small things, incorporating him and thanking him for meals, and actually, it's just a lot of gratitude.
Yeah.
Which you hear it a
Yeah.
lot. Practice being grateful. Like, who are you grateful to? What are you grateful for,
Yeah.
and who gave you that?
And I think there is practice to that. That is, I have to do better at that. There is, because we do tend to we're going to go to the negative. We are negative beings. Like we like to focus on it. So it is a practice to keep that positive attitude. And you're right. It's not just enough to be grateful. Like
But it's not.
know what you're grateful, who you're
Yeah,
grateful
who
to.
you're grateful to.
Yeah.
Give your thanks to somebody, because
Yes.
instead of just sending out grateful vibes.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if you, it's different for your heart when you're grateful to God for something. And
So you
it's,
guys, so you have that spiritual part in your
Mhm.
family. And you guys, I've known both of you for 20 years. And I feel like it's always been such a part of you, just naturally a part of you. And
Yeah.
your parents did a good job with that. We have mom and dad to thank.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Because my mom would be really, yeah, she would always point things to God.
Yeah.
I mean, not just always being grateful, but looking to Christ in
Mm.
all matters. And that helps a lot when terrible things happen because they do. And then, so that's spirit. And then mind. I'm just gonna say personally, I try to be kind of like not Pollyanna, but like a positive thinker. Like if I do something good, I say, "Good job, me." Or if I did something good back then, I'm like, "Good job, past me." And sometimes I'll even write in my journal, like, "Dear diary, be very happy that you wrote this in here today because it was a hard day. Good job, future you reading this," or something like. It's just kind of patting yourself on the back when you did something well.
Well, you said it to me the other day because I tend to be like, I will make jokes that are like demeaning jokes. And I said, I don't remember what I said, but you were like, no, we're going to speak life. But that's actually stuck with me for like the last 3 or 4 weeks since you
Good.
said that. Cause I start to like, even my internal monologue is like, you're so stupid. Like, and I'm like, no,
No.
you're so smart, Dolly.
Yeah.
You can figure this
It
out.
makes a difference.
But it does make a
It
difference.
does. And then also, you being kind to yourself on the inside helps you be kind to other people because we all know
Yeah.
that internal dialogue isn't
Yeah.
always loving toward other people. So, the body part of it, that's a lot of, I think, what we're going to be talking
Yeah.
about on our podcast. I hear so much conflicting information about, like, do you drink coffee in the morning or do you wait 2 hours or not at all because
Yeah.
coffee's the devil? Like,
And so we do want to simplify that for our listeners because
yeah.
there is so much information. And I think something that we all have to remember as we move forward with this is there is not a one size fits all. We're going to cover so many topics and topics that I personally am so passionate about. And I've just, you put it as like, I've been like a tea steeping for years and I haven't.
She's a strong
And I have
tea,
so
folks.
much that I just want to like say, but being able to break it down into this breakfast, lunch, dinner format so that our listeners will be able to take away one thing from every segment that they can apply to their lives in a very easy, practical way.
Right.
So the body wellness, yeah, like we said, we're going to touch on diet. We're going to talk about like our external environments and the toxins we might be surrounded by and just how to swap things out.
And don't freak out about it. That's the
No,
thing.
yeah.
It's to just we're just going to present you what we know and then some things you can do about it.
Yeah.
And so that's a part of the body for you. And then what about the holistic motherhood journey, like the other aspects for you? So you've got you've got your herbalism. That's a big part.
Yeah, that's
Could
a
you
big part.
riff
And
on that a little?
yeah, sure. So I am technically I can call myself an herbalist now, which is crazy. I went from like classical pianist to herbalist. So that journey, there's a long story there. I did touch on that on the like my introductory video, but basically I went to college for music, had that career for a long time I was performing, I had a music school, I always had a good handful of students. The pandemic hit and I saw this not even just a need for my family because so I grew up in a family that ate very all naturally. So it wasn't something that was totally new to me, but I saw the brokenness in the medical system
Mm-hmm.
and people questioning who they could trust, what they could trust. We had all this information coming from us from every angle, and I feel like people freaked out because of the lack of their own knowledge.
Right.
And for me, I did. Like, I know a bit about healthy living as far as like moving your body, exercise,
Mhm.
healthy diet. That was something I've always incorporated in my own family because I was raised like that. It started when one of my kids got really sick. Actually, I'm just remembering this.
Okay.
And they would not see her because she had a fever. She had been in bed for days. Her hip was swelling up and she couldn't walk. And I'm like, my child cannot walk. And they're like, well, does she have a fever? I said, yes.
How old was she?
It was Madeline. She would have been 2.
Oh,
And so they were like, take her to the ER. So I went to the ER. It was a 6-hour wait because people were insane at the time. And I had my other little kids. My husband's at work. I'm like, I'm not taking all these kids into a waiting room at the ER for a 6-hour wait with all these sick people.
yeah.
They wouldn't see her. I had to figure out how to diagnose her myself. I figured out what it was.
What was it?
It was called toxic synovitis. So basically, she just got over a cold and it can settle in the hip joints and cause this swelling. Anyways, I figured out what it was. What was wrong with her, was able to treat it. They would not do it. They wouldn't see her. So that's when I was kind of like, I need more knowledge. I need more information. I have to be more sure that I know at least how to research, right? Again, you're researching, you get all this stuff thrown at you. You don't know who to believe, what to believe, what are the good resources, which ones you just kind of not really pay attention to. So I'm like, is there somebody that can teach me something that's going to teach me about the human body, teach me practical remedies that don't rely on big pharma? And I'm going to use that word.
Yeah, you might as well.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna pick
Put it out
on them.
there. Yeah.
We're gonna pick on them.
And so I settled on herbalism. So I did all my research. I looked at all the schools. So I settled on the Herbal Academy.
Okay.
Because their program cuts out all the fluff. Because I know when you hear herbalist, you think, again, Eastern religion. You
Are
think
there crystals involved
exactly.
in this? Like,
No.
Is the moon involved in it?
So they stay pretty neutral. They do talk about like the different religions, but Christianity is always included in there. So you can kind of pick and choose depending on where you come from. But their lessons are based off science, and they give you the folk medicine side of things. So I really appreciated that. And I have been doing that since 2023 is when I signed up for it finally. And I'm actually still studying herbal medicine, and I've got a little ways to go. So that's been incredible.
And that's I guess that's again talking about the mind part of spirit, mind, and body, or the body part rather, and a little bit of the mind, because I guess herbs can help with anxiety and stuff.
Of
I'm
course.
very excited to hear about this. Who knew?
Yeah.
And then how about like the spiritual part of living holistically?
Yeah.
What does that kind of look for you?
Yeah.
Look like for you?
So, I mean, similar to you, I don't have a lot of time to just sit down and have quiet time with God. When I can fit it in, I do, but it's waking up with gratitude. It's waking up with prayer. I actually have Bible verses on my nightstand. So when I wake up in the morning, before I grab my cell phone, I see those Bible verses and I pause and I read those every morning. I have 6 of them there, and it's helping me to memorize them.
That's
because
cool.
I cannot, will not, I don't know, but it's really hard for me to sit down and be able to memorize. So these little verses I'm reading every morning are just sticking in my head. So that's one way I do it. We have our Bible study every morning as part of our homeschool. We have our Bible, and then each of those lessons incorporates a prayer for us. So then we all pray together, which has been, it's a very easy, consistent way that we've been able to keep that in our family as well.
All the kids?
It's for all the kids. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So it's a cool little Bible study. It's really easy. It takes us, we can do multiple ones a day if we want, but they typically take us 5 minutes. And it's just a very nice lesson.
I'd like to know about that.
Yes, I will show it to you. It's beautiful, actually. So it's kind of just throughout the day. Being in my garden is always a big part of keeping that spiritual aspect.
Yeah.
I will go out to my garden, and that's where I talk to God. That's where I sing my hymns.
Yep, outside. Outside, that's my place.
Yeah.
Too.
There are times that my husband will take the kids to church, and I'm like, I'm going to stay home and be in my garden. And I'm just out there having my little worship time. So
that's cool.
That's how I incorporate it, just to some of how I incorporate it into our day-to-day. So
thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, well, thanks for asking.
I'm glad to know that you enjoy nature, that you connect with God in nature also. Because not everybody does, but
I connect to God through music and nature. Those 2 avenues.
Me too.
Are where I feel closest to God.
Maybe that's why we're friends.
Because we're really weird. And we like food.
And we like food. Food and nature. So I think now, would you like to move on to dinner?
And I would. It's my favorite meal of the day. No, wait, breakfast is.
Don't listen to it.
I don't know, whatever. Inconsistency.
So for dinner, we're going to help you have some ideas that you can take with you in a doggy bag. That's gross. Ew.
So maybe let's get to our dinner portion, where we can talk about the practical application of what we talked about today.
Yes, maybe some take-home ideas.
I want to make a really big point in saying that we are not anti-modern medicine, because I feel like everyone's going to kind of see this like, I feel like homeschoolers kind of have this stigma on them, and then of course herbalists, like, we are not anti-modern medicine.
It's not either or, it's this and.
Exactly. Yeah. And to me, modern medicine absolutely has its role, as does alternative medicine. But I feel like we are a society that just skips straight ahead to the modern,
Mhm.
what we would call conventional medicine,
Mhm.
popping a pill,
Mhm.
whatever, instead of going to that root
Right,
cause.
treating
And
symptoms.
exactly. So the holistic health mindset is a root cause treatment.
Mhm. Looking at the whole system
Yep.
and addressing it from the root up.
Yes.
Yeah.
And preventative medicine. I'm huge. Why do we wait till we're sick before taking
Right.
action?
You've heard the sick care thing, like, "We don't have health care, we have sick
And that,
care."
but that's exactly it.
Mhm.
And I do think that's kind of what modern medicine is. It's sick care. We're popping pills, we're putting a band-aid on this wound instead of seeing, is that wound a scrape? Is it a burn?
Mhm.
What do we need to do to fix that instead of just putting a band-aid on it?
Right. Just being mindful in what you're putting in your body and being knowledgeable
Well,
in what it
the
is.
idea is that we don't want to get to a point where we need conventional medicine if
If
possible.
possible.
We don't want to have to take medications. What are we doing so we don't have to be, have a handful of pills that we have to take every day?
Mhm.
I love conventional medicine for the ER.
Yeah,
I will always go, like, I'm
yeah,
not gonna try to set
emergency
my own
stuff.
bone.
Right. Please don't.
But just being mindful of our everyday is preventative medicine. And again, that comes from the spiritual aspect, the mental, the physical. Antidepressants have their place. I
Mhm.
will never ever shame somebody for being on an antidepressant.
Mhm.
But if we're being honest with ourselves, half the people on them, could they be off of them if they were exercising 30 minutes a day or if they were
Mhm.
cutting certain things out of their diet?
Mhm.
So that's just a point I like I said, I
Right.
wanted to make.
We're not being exclusive of one
Exactly.
pursuit. We're being inclusive of
Yes.
natural medicine
Yes.
as well as conventional
Yes.
medicine. And
Yes.
we're going to introduce you to more of the
Yeah.
natural side of
Yeah.
things. Yeah.
And so with that natural side of things, I do feel like because we are such a culture that is so dependent on conventional medicine, and we depend on the people holding those degrees, which yes, they worked hard, they have the knowledge,
Mhm.
but that we don't give ourselves enough credit
Right.
for our ability to research and to learn and to know and to advocate for our own
Yep. To
family's health.
critically think for
Yes,
ourselves. Yes.
yes.
Yep.
And so part of the goal with this whole podcast is giving, especially women, stay at home mothers or working mothers and moms, the ability and the confidence to do their own research.
Mhm.
We're going to teach you how to research. We're going to give you those resources. And then also just the confidence to advocate for your family's health.
Mhm.
You have your God given intuition. Nobody knows your child more than you do.
Mhm.
And to be able to sit in front of a doctor who's trying to push something and to say, you know what? No, I need to think about this. I need to go home and pray about it. Prayer, research,
Mhm.
getting stuck in third, fourth, fifth opinions if you have to,
Right.
because medicine is never a one size fits all. And that's something else that I just feel is a huge flaw in this conventional medical system,
Mhm.
is that they really treat us like every pill is a one size fits all. I'm going to say it. Every vaccine is a one size fits all.
Mhm.
They are
It's not.
not. We have genetics and we have the scientific proof that show us genetics play a role
Mhm.
in the effectiveness of a vaccine, in the reaction rates,
Mhm.
all that. And we're going to get into that. But so just having that confidence in your own mind, in your own ability, having the strength to stand up against this brainwashing
Yeah.
that they know all, we know nothing. That's
Right.
not,
Right. That they know best. Yeah.
yeah. And
So would you say that is your dinner?
that is
Is
my
okay.
that is my dinner. Yes,
Okay.
if there's something I want anybody to take away from this episode and just knowing what we're going to be doing
Mhm.
in the future, it's giving that confidence to our listeners and the ability to not blind confidence and not overconfidence. There has
Right.
to be humbleness here
Right.
always,
Right.
but just the ability and the encouragement that we pray, we research, we talk,
Mhm.
and then we listen to that intuition.
Right. And you make an educated decision
Yeah,
based on your education and
yeah.
your decisions,
And
not
that
somebody
you're
else
not
making that for you.
crazy even by being, I feel like God is telling me this is not right for my family right now.
Mhm.
That's not crazy.
Nope.
God
It's
gave
not.
you those children because he knows you're best fit to be their mother.
Mhm.
And he's going to tell you, you know what? Not right now.
Right.
Wait. Or no, that's not good for them. He created God, science, everything. God created the science.
Mhm.
He knows those little bodies. He knows your
Yep.
body. He knows your mind. He knows your heart. He knows what's best for you and for them. And if you're seeking him, he's going to lead you in the right direction to find out the right information.
Right.
He's going to lead the right doctors to you that are going to work with what is best for the health
Right.
of your family.
Right. That's so exciting.
Yeah. I'm excited to share that and just, I guess, my thought process on that and what it's looked like in my own family.
And I'm
So,
excited to hear it because that's why I'm here.
yeah.
I think my dinner is more a small, maybe it's like an appetizer, but my dinner is going to be, if this sounds intimidating, if researching and stuff is too big for you right now, because sometimes it is. Sometimes you have a newborn and you're in the doctor's office and they're trying to give your kid like 6 vaccines at once, and that's overwhelming. Um, well, I guess just pray about stuff. I was going to do a different dinner, but I think this is to go along with yours.
Yeah.
Before you enter a situation, pray about it. That's going to be my small takeaway. And if you don't know Jesus, I would encourage you to try talking to him. Just try. It's
And
not like
you don't
you're
have
gonna.
to know Jesus
No,
to get answers from Jesus.
right.
He's still there. You can say, I don't know you, but he knows you.
Yep. And he loves you regardless of what you think of him.
Yeah.
So you could be angry at him. That's great. Talk to him and tell him you're angry. If you're scared about a situation, just before you enter it, if you feel that little inside, just pray about it beforehand. It could be a meeting that you're going into and you're like, oh, I encourage you to just speak a little bit like, God, please help me. Just say it in your head. It doesn't matter if you say it out loud, but
And it doesn't have to be a long drawn out prayer. I feel like too, we're like, I can't like say a proper prayer, whatever
Mhm.
that is. No, you can say, God, help me in this appointment to make a wise decision.
right.
And that's your
And
prayer.
yeah, and it's not like God's a genie, but he can guide you.
Yeah.
He can guide you to make wise decisions. And if you are a believer, then you can hear him respond.
Yeah.
I, yeah. So I think I'll just kind of leave it
Yeah,
at that.
sure. And I think that's great. I think that's great. Again, it's all encompassing. It is not this or that. Holistic health is your spirit, your body, your mind. We know that. And it's not only alternative medicine, it's not only conventional medicine. It's all of it, and it's knowing how to work with all of it so it all works together
Mhm.
for the benefit of us,
Mhm.
for our families, for our homes. So I'm really excited to take you on this journey with us and hope that you will join us for our next episode where we're just going to start breaking down all these topics. If you guys have questions or have topics that you would like for us to discuss, please post them in the comments below. We will get to them. We want to hear from you and what you would like to get from this podcast as well. Between the two of us and our experience in our own research, our life, I feel like we have so much that we want to share with our audience. And there's a lot that we want to learn from you as well. So
Right.
I think together we're going to go on this journey, and it's going to be an amazing, eye-opening, encouraging thing for mothers everywhere
Yeah.
to experience this, what it is, what the beauty of holistic motherhood really is.
Thank you for joining us as we journey toward a more meaningful, simple, holistic motherhood.
We hope you'll join us next time.
Yes.
Bye. Shout out to our husbands for taking care of
Yes.
all 8 children
Yes.
for us while we do this.
Thank you.
It's real. And if you can't hear them, they're screaming around as they've been banging on the doors. So.
Yeah, shout out to the husbands.
Yeah.
Thanks, guy. Your very own role from your very own bathroom.
So did you know that toilet paper apparently causes butthole cancer?
No! Tell me more. Wait a minute. Can this be
Yes.
I believe it. Satan's paper. Yeah?